Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Foundational Fathers Podcast, where we build men into fathers through faith, fatherhood, and legacy. I'm your host, the Themutebassplayer, and today we've got a special guest with us who's about to unleash his worship abilities on an album that's going to shake your soul. Morris Catterwelle himself. Morris is the kind of guy who can make a guitar cry, shout, and sing praises all in the same song. And we're about to dive into some heart behind this project, plus maybe a roast because, well, he's Morris, you know.
All right, before we get started, it wouldn't be right to continue without a few dad jokes. It's kind of our tradition.
Let's do it.
At Foundational Fathers.
Well, let's hear him, Marcus. These better be good enough to make even Morris guitar laugh.
All right. Why did the worship leader cross the road?
I don't know.
To get to the bridge of the song.
I love it.
What do you call a worship leader who can't find the key? A flat note.
I can think of a few.
How many guitar players does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but he'll first need to tell you how awesome he was at changing it last week. Why don't worship leaders ever play hide and seek?
I don't know.
Because good luck hiding when your hair is sticking up like a worship flag.
Well, you know, Morris, how are we doing? Are we getting some standing ovations out there, you think, or just a guitar face palm?
I don't know. Not yet.
Not yet. Why did the guitar player get kicked out of the worship team?
I don't know.
Because he kept fretting too much.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. What do you call a worship leader who only sings during warm-ups?
I don't know.
A warm-up artist.
Ah, okay.
Why did the worship team bring a ladder to church? Because they wanted to take their praise to the next level. How do you know if a worship leader is at your house?
I don't know.
Don't worry. They'll tell you.
That one's true.
What's a worship leader's favorite part of a pizza?
I don't know. Maybe the pineapple?
Maybe. The bridge.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing that it's actually supposed to be like the little seat or little thing that keeps the cardboard out of the pizza.
Oh, okay.
Is that what the bridge is?
It could be.
I've never heard of a bridge on the pizza. So, why was a worship leader so good at fishing?
I don't know.
Because he's used to casting out the net and reeling them in.
Oh, you know what? I just realized something. I know what the bridge is on pizza.
What?
Cheese. Just like your jokes, they're cheesy.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The bridge.
The bridge.
Yep.
Yeah. Why did the worship leader take up gardening?
I don't know.
Because he heard it was a great way to plant seeds and grow a new audience.
Oh, man. Well, let's be real. Morris' guitar playing is so powerful that even when the devil said, I'm out of here, this is too holy for me. But Marcus's jokes, I don't know.
And if you're wondering if this album cover was an accident or an artistic genius, Morris said yes. Because sometimes even the best worship leaders can't decide if they're going for Holy Spirit fire or hair salon on fire.
Oh, well, we're talking about this guy named Morris Catterwelle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man whose guitar playing is so electrifying, it might just power the entire city of Burlington if we plugged him in. Morris Catterwelle is proof that if you play enough power chords, you can too convince people that feedback squeals and artist expression. Morris Catterwelle is a songwriter and a musician who writes mostly indie and alternative music, but has also donned this worship album that is going to be released real soon. Morris has been melting faces with his guitar solos for years, I think since Diapers, or at least giving his poor guitar a nervous breakdown. If his amp had feelings, it'd be in therapy by now. He's like the musical equivalent of a dad joke. You know it's coming, you can't stop it, and somehow you love it anyway. Honestly, Morris' guitar is like his best friend, mostly because it's the only thing he can't walk away from when he's playing Wonderwall for the 100th time. He says, well, he's working on this next album, which is code for I'm still trying to tune my guitar. He's proof that even if you can't always hit the high notes, you can always turn up the volume.
Seriously, this guy's been strumming strings for so long, his guitar has more battle scars than a medieval knight's shield. His solos, let's just say, they're so face melting, even his amp has a restraining order. Morris, we love you, man. Keep shredding like your strings are on fire, and don't worry, we're pretty sure your hair can't look any better without that hat.
All right. So let's get serious for a second. Tell us about a vision for this album before we walk into it. What's the message you're hoping people hear in these songs?
I don't know if there's a singular like a vision for the album other than each song was kind of written. Well, this is a pandemic album, so this is a pandemic project. So I didn't really have a singular image other than I wanted each song to be, honest. I was having a tough time through the pandemic, not because of the pandemic, just because of other stuff I was going through.
Yeah.
And so, no real unified vision other than I think each song does have like scriptural basis. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Each one you can break it down.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
There's not really one unified theme for all 8 songs.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I noticed that you put them in an order where you kind of do have somewhat of a flow to it, like the first one's joint. Yeah.
There's a flow, but there's not a like I didn't sit down to write out a this song. This album is going to be about,
Okay. Well, that's
God's character or whatever. I mean, there's no real there's just kind of 8 snapshots, I think,
for sure,
of different scripture and things like that.
What will be some musical inspiration, like maybe heroes of the music that you kind of follow after?
I mean, as far as musical inspiration, songwriting, I was like a Rich Mullins fan.
Oh yeah, obscure. I could totally see that.
But I don't know who your audience is.
Yeah,
but Rich Mullins was like original Christian
for sure
songwriting. So he that was what I liked in high school when I first started getting songwriting.
I could totally see that through it then. Yeah, for sure.
He's not like, musically, but songwriting.
He's like,
yep, no idea.
That's okay. Yeah, he's obscure.
He went out in a whirlwind like Elijah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So musically, I mean, I've got a bunch of different musical inspirations. I mean, it's super varied.
Yeah. So, and you guys will notice when we play some of these tracks that I think are probably my top 3 favorite ones of the album. We'll go ahead and play soon here, but you'll kind of hear some of what I was hearing in there. Maybe you guys in the comments below can like say, "Hey, this sounds like such," but a lot better. So, I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. So one thing that we love about worship music is how it turns our focus to God. Morris, how do you see worship as a tool for transformation and connection with Jesus?
Yeah, so I mean, I view like it as far as people in like corporate worship, so in church, there's a lot of people who connect, intellectually with God through like a sermon or through, teaching, things like that. I think music plays a role of connecting us on an emotional level as well as spiritual and intellectual. So I think the music can bridge that kind of what am I trying to say? Music can bring people who would not normally, listen to a sermon or get anything out of it. As good as a sermon can be.
Yeah.
So I kind of view worship music in the church as it can play a teaching role, and it can connect in a unique way,
Yeah.
whereas something else might not hit.
Yeah.
You know, it hits differently.
Yeah.
Music does.
Yeah. I mean, we're really trying to, in that situation, really connect with God anyway.
Yeah.
It's not about the people around us. It's about the relationship
Yeah,
between
and
us and God.
Yeah, and I don't view I don't think music. I think the music is a means to an end.
Yeah.
But we still in church are intentional about
Yeah.
what we're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do that,
Yeah.
crossing and,
Yeah.
and
For sure. So yeah.
Intentional. That's the whole.
That's
whole,
like I think that might be a common thread through something that we are involved with. I don't know.
I think it might be uncommon.
It might be uncommon,
Yeah.
intentionally uncommon, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's the whole purpose, though, right? Is to
Yeah.
be intentional with the things we do and the things we we write, the things we
Mhm.
listen to, in our praise and worship.
that's what makes us not just another dad pod, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So hey, guys,
what do you consider? You guys consider yourselves a dad pod?
we're a dad
We're
pod,
definitely dad pod.
but we're different.
yeah, we got.
I mean, we got
dad
Marcus.
pods.
We got Matt. Yeah. So, but we've come to the time in our pod,
Yeah.
dad pod,
Dad pod. Yeah.
Yeah. that it's time for yes or no. So, all right, Morris, I'll just kind of give you the rundown here. I'm going to break it down, break the ice with a holy or hilarious yes or no. All right. It's time to see how many of these hit home. And you're going to take a sip of your drink by Liquid Death. They're not sponsoring us, but I love this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're going to take a sip of this drink every time you say yes, and let's see who's for real in this dad life.
All right.
All right. So have you ever worn a shirt with a dad joke on it to church?
No.
Not me either. Nope. All right. Have you ever had to rescue your kid from the holy splash zone in the baptismal?
No.
No, me neither.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Have you ever been asked for help with math homework and prayed for divine intervention? Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to fix something at home and then realized you're just making it worse all the time?
Yeah.
Have you ever used your dad voice in worship and scared the kids in the pew behind you? No. I mean, shoot, that's not even a dad voice for Marcus. That's normal.
Yeah, that was just the normal voice.
Have you ever done the victory dance when your kid finally slept through the night? Yes.
Take a drink of water for that one.
Have you ever told your kids that's enough sugar while sneaking in an extra donut for yourself? All the time.
Yeah.
Have you ever called your kid by the wrong sibling name and hope they didn't notice? This can's going to be gone before I know it.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the same bedtime story so many times that you could quote it backwards? No.
Not backwards, but I
could quote it forwards, but yeah. Have you ever thought you were right and then remembered your wife's always right? Our wives are watching, just so you know. All right. Have you ever called your kid's buddy or sport in front of their friends and they rolled their eyes at you? Yes.
I don't know if they ever rolled their eyes.
Have you ever had to Google how to grill properly before the backyard barbecue? Yes. My wife's the griller. Hey, I told you on the air, my wife's the griller. All right. She grills me every time I walk through the door.
She's grilling you.
Have you ever told your kids back in my day just to see how old you could sound?
Yeah, I already took a drink for that.
Yeah.
Have you ever started a DIY project and realized halfway through that you need a pro? All the time. I call Marcus.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I need one too.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to lead your family devotion and ended up chasing your kids around the room instead? All the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now I have some geared. This is a new part of this segment. It's geared for Morris. Have you ever played so loud that your guitar amp needs prayer for healing?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've been playing a while, so yeah.
I mean, I always play loud.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Do you have a worship playlist that's longer than your sermon notes? Yes.
That's a no for me, actually.
Have you ever said, this is a new song, and just to avoid people realizing you forgot the lyrics? I have done that on stage, yes. All right. How about secretly hoping that your guitar solo will become a YouTube highlight reel? Nah, me neither.
Nah.
That's why I play bass. Do you drink more coffee before a worship set than water in a whole day? Well,
Nope.
obviously, nope.
You don't drink coffee. So we learned that one.
Have you ever let your hair down just to feel more anointed on stage?
I mean, it's always down, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not just for anointing, though.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Have you ever been so in the zone during worship that you forgot you were supposed to be leading others? Yes.
I thought this was
Because then I don't look up and I get totally engaged in what I'm doing and I don't involve others. Yeah. Do you have a worship air guitar face even when you're playing a real guitar?
No, I don't.
No.
Think so.
No, you're really into it,
No.
but I wouldn't say it's air guitar face. Have you ever pulled the Holy Spirit shuffle, aka the foot tap and head nod when you're not sure of the next chord? Nah, me neither.
So.
Did you ever play Wonderwall on an acoustic guitar and then promise yourself you never would do it again?
No, I should try not to play Wonderwall ever.
Do you think tuning your guitar counts as spiritual discipline?
Yes. Yes.
All right. One more. Have you ever said it's not the strings, it's the spirit when you break a string mid-song?
No, I don't break too many strings.
Ah.
Not that often.
He's not that into it then.
I don't dig in too hard.
He plays soft. He has soft hands.
Oh, yeah.
Soft. Yeah. All right. Well, Morris, when you think about the songs on this album, the one track that stands out to you is maybe one of those considered more of a personal testimony than another?
A personal testimony. You know what? My favorite song on the album's Abide, I think.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite one.
Okay.
But personal testimony, I mean, they're all kind of testimonies, really. I mean, they're all kind of stuff that I was, going through or thinking about. Maybe the rest, expectations, and the rest are two that were kind of.
Well, the rest is one of my top 3 on your album.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's because I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. What are you thinking?
I was wondering if we were going to listen to some, but
yeah,
are we going to do it later?
No, we're going to do it.
All right. Well, yeah. All right, folks. It's time to give your ears a treat. Here's a snippet of Morris Catterwelle's new worship album. Let us speak into your heart and crank up the volume.
Have you not heard that the Lord, he sits above the circle of the earth upon his throne? Have you not seen, or have you closed your heart and overlooked the love that he has shown us? Have you not heard? Have you not heard?
Small we are, our lives like the blinking of an eye. But his word will stand through time. It breathes into its life, and he will never die. Cry out, the King he reigns. Mountain crumble down to the plain. Whole earth see him one.
All right. Well, I'll be honest with you, man. That one almost made me pull over while I was driving, even cry with one hand on the wheel and the other one raised to heaven. A fresh anthem of rebirth. Tell us about the heartbeat behind this song.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I started with that guitar hook. That was the whole, that was the whole song was written kind of out of that. That first little guitar riff. Yeah, the scripture behind it though is that verse in Isaiah. It's John the Baptist.
Mhm.
So it's, I do like this song. I don't know how singable this one is in church, but this was the one where I was like, whatever. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just kind of do whatever I
Yeah.
want on it,
Yeah.
without regard for
Yeah.
whoever can play it or who can
Right.
sing it. This is the one that I kind of cut loose a little bit. Yeah, it's that notion that because the scripture in Isaiah is, it's the prophecy of of John the Baptist.
Sure.
The voice crying in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And so I took that and I was like, our job is to, to lower the mountains, to raise the plain up so people can see Jesus. That's kind of our,
Yeah.
so I took it and was, our job is to cry out
Mm-hmm.
as that voice.
Yeah.
too, so people can hear about Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's, that's the theme
Okay.
of the song. That's
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed some of the lyrics. Cry out to the King, he reigns.
Yeah.
Mountains crumble down to the plain. Then cry out when injustice is strong. Cry peace when the battle is drawn.
yeah.
Those were really powerful words to me. Just listening to it, that's what was one of my top faves. So
Cool.
the fact that you were like, I'm just going to go all in on this.
Yeah,
I kind of see how that works. Yeah, it's also a little fun groove to play. So
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
So it's always nice when you can have that story behind what was really going on with a song that you really like to listen to. Yeah. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was just listening to, like you said, crying out when your hope is all gone, cry strength,
Mhm.
Just reminds me, like, when I am feeling weak and I don't feel like I'm being strong, I gotta cry out for that strength, because he is my strength.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love worship music. I love songs that, whether I can sing to them or not, I prefer them not to be the songs all the time that we sing it in church. Like, not saying I don't like those songs, because I do. I enjoy praising God,
No, I
each
get
and
what
every
you're
day. But
Yeah.
I like something with meaning behind it. Like, I mean, all of it has meaning, but you know what I mean? Like, when you're having a story to tell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes you can listen. I'm not going to bash everybody's songs.
Yeah.
It's hard to write a good song. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even really good people.
Yeah.
That you can't pull it off.
Yeah.
You just can't. It's really tough to hit that. Yeah. That song that speaks to people, but also they can sing and also they want to sing. It's so hard.
Well, I can't sing, so
Yeah. Well, I just think it's good to, like, when you're doing something like this, like for a first timer, like to have something that people can go, oh yeah, I recognize that sound, that song, like, and like they can put something to it. So that way, when you're doing anything beyond that, they're like, oh yeah, this is what that guy's like. So yeah, and it puts heart behind things too. So whatever you do after that, I know other musicians who, like, they will play something new, and I'll be like, that's totally not you. Like, because I'm remembering, like, their, like, first 10 albums or whatever, and then they do something, they try to switch it up to go with, like, what's current today, and I'm like, go back to your roots, man. That's when you were grooving, Now,
as a writer, I will say that I do have a typical sound.
Yeah.
Even my stuff that's not, I've got it written, but it's not recorded. It does. You can tell.
Yeah.
Tell it's me.
So,
for better or worse.
Yeah.
You can tell
I mean, but that's what makes I think a long-standing great musician has come into their own niche and, like, said, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So hear me.
Yeah. Get your own voice. Yeah.
So, it's a perfect segue into the next song that we're going to listen to, called Recreate. Another good track, I think, on here. And I think we all know why I think it's a good track. So let's give her a listen, shall we?
All right, kick it in, boy. Walked into too many years, too many failures and too many tears, and we ask, oh Lord, recreate us. God, we come to you, broken and few, knowing this world has nothing new. As we wait, Lord, put our pieces back together soon. Recreate us, oh Lord, recreate us in your word. We are eager, Lord, for your redemption. Recreate us, oh Lord, recreate us in your word. We are eager, Lord, for your redemption. As a waiting mother feels the pain, so are we who call your name. As we wait, Lord, for you to save us. And God, we thank you for your Son, sent to save us from the fall, and your patient love for us. Went out after all is done. Recreate us, oh Lord, recreate us in your word. We are eager, Lord, for your redemption. Oh, recreate us, oh Lord, recreate us in your word. We are eager, Lord, for your redemption.
All right. Well, anyway, recreate.
Yeah.
This one hits right out of the gate. I heard this sound and thought, well, that's the sound of surrender wrapped in fire. Also, I messaged you and said, hey, I feel like this has a lot of similar flavor to stuff, one that we've done in church because that you've actually done guitar on, and then two bands that I've grown to like over the years.
Yeah.
So the heartbeat behind this song was probably that bluesy flavor that you like to throw in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of country blues.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So this is the one song I actually did not write.
Oh. Okay.
I was in Portland for a little bit. There was a guy in our church, and we were all kind of writing stuff. So in Portland, there wasn't a lot of established Christians, so no one had grown up in church. So as musicians in church, we got to do whatever we wanted. It was really nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got to play whatever we wanted. So we were writing stuff. We went through a phase, or a couple of us were writing, and one of the guys named Luke Weeks he wrote this song. It's in a little bit different form. So I asked him if I could use it. Obviously, I said, "Hey, I'm recording an album. Can I record this song?" And he said, "Sure." Super nice about it. So this is I basically rearranged the song. So I arranged it and did so in its original form. It didn't really sound like that exactly, but the melody and most of the words.
Would you say that you recreated it?
I recreated it. Yes. Yeah. So that song's straight out of Romans 8. That's the, creation's groaning.
Yeah.
We're waiting for redemption. That's basically, because the song has tons of energy.
Yeah.
Even in his form, I feel like that he wrote. And so I took it and made it my own. And I kind of went and just added every instrument I could.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like it's more of like an invitation and a renovation all at the same time. Like we're walking into a darkness for too many years and failures and too many tears. We ask, oh Lord, recreate us. I really like that line.
Yeah.
As a waiting mother feels her pain. I love that line too. What was said in that song was just, that's what spoke to me.
Yeah.
So
it's
a
good song.
I was listening to all your tracks and I'm like, top three, and I'm like, that's right up there with the number one, but had a just different feel to it. And I was like, this is totally a Morris flavor type of feel that I've heard him play guitar for many years.
Oh yeah.
I think I've known you for almost 10 years now, probably around there. And yeah, I would say that would be right up there.
It's good too because my daughter actually sings on this one too.
I was going to ask who the female voices were.
Oh man, I can't remember if Jenna was doing regular background vocals, and then my daughter. I think my daughter's just at the end of the song, and then I put her on ukulele.
Oh, okay.
I said, hey, you need to play ukulele. It's that little ukulele part at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's her and
well, that's fun.
Singing. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, that's great. It's good to involve your kids in your music. I have grown to like that. My oldest is a drummer. He loves drums. Didn't see that one coming at all. He's a tech kid. So I didn't see that at all. And then my middle child is a music education major, and she loves guitar. Thus the reason I bought the Les Paul that's staying in my room and not in her house. So
Yeah. Nice.
But so like having that ability go for generations is cool. And hopefully they do something more than what I've done with it. That is the goal. So living out our dreams through our children, that's great and all, but if they can do something with it that's beyond what you can do, I think that's even better because it shows growth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
I'm
not musically talented or anything.
I will have to say though, the lyrics behind this last song that I want to play here, off the chain. I love this last song, and the name of this song I'll leave to the end because this, I mean, it speaks for itself. But this one caught me off guard, in the very best way. So I'll play it for you all here real quick, and then we'll get into the what it all meant.
Once we lived, ignorance covered our lives, our false gods sat silently while we cried in the dark. Groped like we were blind, and he saw. Oh, and he loved the entire time. All our thoughts set against his ways, but his hand in patience it was stayed, for he knew how small indeed we are, and the news of him we heard from afar. Lift up your eyes and see, O sinner, the King who brings redemption. The unknown God is here. Unknown God is here. He came to earth, and death he finished. He's coming back to get his children. The unknown God is here. The unknown God is here.
Now, that was why it caught me off guard, because the name of that song is Unknown God.
Yeah.
And, like, as somebody who grew up in church most of his life and had a vision of who God was from a very young age, going through life and having that vision really isn't what a lot of people who go through life, and not know who this God is, or atheists who think that there is no God, and then they realize that there is this God. Like that whole death and resurrection, was in this song. Birth, death, and resurrection. You just dropped a beat behind it. I love it. 4/4 time, and the groove fits so well with what you were trying to say. Just think, like that whole line: "Lift up your eyes and see, O sinner, the King who brings redemption." I run at the Macomb Crossing campus. We have this program called Regeneration, and I'm a coach in there. And this is something that would be an anthem in that type of place. And now I'm going to probably have to get you to come and speak at Regeneration for sure. And throw that song in. But I love the groove behind it, but the meaning and what all the words that you were saying in there was just like, it really gave me chills. Like I was listening to all your stuff, and that one just really brought, I'm like, wow, what a name, the unknown God. Even though we were all born into this world as a creation of God, a lot of us don't realize whose we are until the blinders come off of our own eyes and we're able to see what is around us and who our maker really is. And so this song, I would say, best out of all your songs on this album, in message wise. The first one, I love the groove. And but like this one, message wise, the words really spoke to me.
That's funny. So, because I'll explain here in a second. But yeah, that song is straight out of Acts 17. So Paul, you know that you guys know the story. Paul's walking through Athens and he sees all the different idols and stuff, and so he's thinking about it, and then he sees the statue or this altar to an unknown God. It's like, and so he works that into his sermon, and it's like the best. I think it's the best sermon ever, because he says, you're worshiping. He said, you're worshiping this in ignorance, but what you're worshiping in ignorance, well, I'm going to tell you about it. It's Jesus. It's Jesus. That's who you're. That's the God, and so he brings it home. And then I think they chased him out of the city. But anyway, it was a great sermon.
That's exactly what happened.
Eventually.
I mean, that's usually what happens with Paul. He gets chased out of the city.
So this song, it's funny that's one of your favorites, because this song drove me nuts. I did not like it. So this is like the second version of the song. I had a whole other version in 4/4, actually, that I wrote it all and then I scrapped it. All of it. I scrapped all of it. This is actually the second iteration of this song. It was, for some reason, the other ones were fairly easy to not easy, but they were easier than this one. This one took months and months of. I feel like I just took it out back and just beat it with a board. I mean, I really did. I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it right. The bridge, I wrote like right before we recorded it. Or no, we recorded it and I completely changed the bridge.
Oh, okay.
I completely changed everything around. So, like, I had to. Anyway, it was an actual nightmare of a song to write.
Well, that's funny.
Reason. And it turned out, and that's my daughter on that song. So that's my wife. That's my wife's favorite song.
Yeah,
but that's just because she sings on it.
Well, I was gonna ask you, and you just explained it, but I was gonna ask you if there ever was a time that you felt like the dry bones before you felt the dance, and you just explained.
I mean, it was. I sometimes, like, when you're creating, it comes easy. Sometimes it just happens, and then other times it's work. And this one was like, I just couldn't get it right. Like, it was like actual labor.
Yeah. Well, I think, this stirred my heart, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of those tracks that stirs the hearts of.
That's good.
Of all the people that listen to this, because
that's good.
I really
that's encouraging, because I honestly, after it was done, I was like,
well, I mean,
really, I know
sometimes
I know that's terrible, but like after it was done, I was like, because it took so long.
Oh, I totally understand as a songwriter myself, like it, but I really feel like the effort pays off, and like the great struggles that you're facing, like, oh, do I want to? What am I really trying to say here? Or what? Those struggles do pay off, especially when it's an anointed version of it. So I really do feel like that is what, like, I would say, best track off the whole album, right there.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So
I knew it was gonna. I did that too, and I recorded. I'm like, everybody's gonna love this song, and I'm just like,
and you're like, I'm gonna hate playing this one. Every artist has a song that everybody
I don't
loves.
I don't hate it. I just it was so, like, it was just so hard.
Yeah.
It was just so challenging.
So, like, I know that every artist has this one song they're like, not this song again. Really? This song again?
And that's the one they always play.
I don't feel like that about any of them.
That's good. That's good. So, looking at the whole album, what do you think throughout this, that the thread that ties it all together, Marcus?
Well, if you're asking me what I think it all ties it together, and I mean, that's the Holy Spirit,
Sure.
Is definitely a point to looking at who we call upon, and then and who we were worshiping and who we're praising to, right? Like, going back to, sorry,
okay.
Going back to the first one, we're talking about tearing mountains down, right?
Mhm.
Mountains crumbling.
Mhm.
And so it's like, and then calling out, right? That's what it was. Was that the name of
Cry
it?
out.
Cry out, cry out.
But it wasn't the name of the song, but it's
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I mean, it should be the name of the song.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might. there's
Sorry.
there's wiggle room in there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But like, yeah, it's like, why am I crying out? Who am I crying out to? And then, obviously the last one we just listened to, it's the unknown God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think, that this album would be one that I would be playing if I was working in my garage, although I don't work in my garage very much. I usually have Marcus come over and
Yeah.
do that for me. But if you could say one thing to a man who's going to listen to this while he's in his garage or in the pew after a long week, what would that be? If you say anything about this album.
I hope if someone listens to it, like in any walk of life, I hope that they can realize like the spirit behind the music. I think the whole album for me was just kind of trying to connect what I was going through
Mm-hmm.
to worship music, because I was going through not my best time in life, definitely, when I was writing and recording this. So I think it would be that God works through wherever you're at.
Yeah.
It's not about having arrived.
Yeah.
We don't,
For sure.
until
the end.
Until the very end.
Yeah.
And so and that whole process, I think for me was that was the theme of the process. If there is a theme, I think that was the theme. But yeah, I would want somebody just to realize that
I would say
that's okay.
out there that if ever the saying, the means justifies the end, this would be one of those things. Like the songwriting as a musician, it's important to have our means justified at the end, right?
Yeah.
So I really feel like you did some justifying here through what you did. So I think that also says the Spirit was in it. Yeah. So speaking of the Spirit, if the album stirred your spirit, I can't wait for you guys to go grab a copy or stream it or share it or support Morris's ministry when it's available.
Give me a month.
All right.
Give me a month. So my goal is to get it up streaming, and then honestly, for any listeners, the best way to support music, especially independent artists like myself, is to buy physical copies or merch or anything like that. And I think I'm going to do an LP, a vinyl run, and maybe CDs and maybe some shirts too, which would be kind of fun. I would really love, and my wife would love to, for people to buy, like if I do an LP run, for it to sell. So I'm not sitting on a bunch of
for sure
unused stuff. But anyway, but yeah, that stuff should be soon. I'm going to get the website up hopefully in a week or two.
Okay.
And I think if I do an LP run, I think it's 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks
something
out,
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. But
so, and when he gets his website up and running, we'll make sure to put it in the comments of this.
Yes.
When it's when it's
it'll
available.
It'll be morriscatterwelle.com, I think.
So, okay. So yeah. And if you're listening out there and this music also grabbed you like it's grabbed me, but you've never been able to experience the saving power of Jesus, he's calling that you right now. He's calling out to you and saying, come. He gave his life for you, and he's inviting you into the relationship that's deeper than any of these songs. Listening to Morris's music and hearing his heart behind this today reminds us that worship isn't just about singing songs. It's about knowing the one you're singing to. And if you're listening right now and you've never experienced that forgiveness and freedom that comes from knowing Jesus, we want you to know that he's ready to meet you where you are. He gave his life on the cross for you, rose again and conquered sin and death, and invites you into his new life. One where you're fully loved and fully known by a known God. And if you're ready to say yes to Jesus, you can do it right now where you're at, wherever you're listening. Just say, Lord, I believe in you. forgive me of my sins, come into my life, and help me to follow you. And if you prayed that prayer, then welcome to the family of God, brothers. We're cheering you on as you start this journey in faith. And if you do not have a church home or a community of brothers, find us on Facebook or at the Intentionally UNCMN Initiative.com, or comments in these in this YouTube, and we will gladly hook you up with a community that can get you going. Because just because you prayed the prayer, doing life alone is not the easiest, but doing it with a community of people around you that can help you in your walk with Christ just makes it all the easier, because life gets harder when you say yes. It doesn't get easier.
And hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow us on social media. You'll find updates on new episodes and a whole lot of laughs. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever else you hang out online. Just search the Foundational Fathers podcast and hit that follow button. We're here to keep building each other up in faith, fatherhood, and legacy. Let's keep the conversation going. All right, before we wrap it up, I just want to take a quick minute to shout out today's sponsor, Sasquatch Gun Oil. Whether you're taming wild beards or tackling the great outdoors, Sasquatch Gun Oil has got your back and your gear, because even the best worship leaders know that a well-oiled axe is the first step to a good job well done.
And of course, we can't forget our friends at Sabbath Coffee Roasters. If you're trying to stay awake for those early morning devotions or those late night recording sessions like Morris here, you need coffee. Well, he doesn't, but
I'm sorry.
That's all.
I'm ruining everything.
That's as bold as your faith. Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Brew it like you mean it.
Finally, this podcast is brought to you by the Intentionally UNCMN Initiative. Brothers, if you're looking to grow deeper in your faith, your family, and your purpose, check out the resources and events at Intentionally UNCMN. Let's keep building this legacy, the one step at a time.
And as we wrap up, we want to thank every one of you for tuning in today. And Morris, thanks for sharing your music as well as your heart. And you can find his music available very soon everywhere. Marcus, thanks for keeping us laughing and me humble. And to our listeners, remember, you're not just a part of this podcast community. You're a part of a brotherhood that's all about faith, fatherhood, and legacy. No matter how heavy the load or how high the volume, remember, you don't have to carry it alone. Stay rooted, stay grounded, and keep building the legacy that God has called you to. And until next time, this is the Mute Bass Player, Marcus and Morris, signing off. Be blessed, bless others.